Says YouTube.
Yeah, says we're live.
All right. Well, barring some technical difficulties here, I would like to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, and welcome to Exiting the Huddle with Dan and Jacob. I am, of course, Jacob.
And I am, of course, the infamous Dan.
He's the infamous Dan.
The infamous.
I know what he did.
What did I do?
Had to do with that the stain of '97.
I was like 11.
I know what I said.
No.
You know the stain. Anyways. Welcome back to the podcast / live show on YouTube. It's been too long. We want to get right into it. I don't know about you, but I kind of like to, say we were kind of right about one thing last year.
Yeah, I think it was a big thing too.
It was the big.
It was the biggest of all the big things.
And that would of course be Ohio State winning the national championship over Notre Dame.
Not the way I thought it was going to end.
No, I was expecting a blowout, in my opinion. But, hey, Notre Dame got there for a reason. If anything, you kind of look back at that Texas game, and I feel like the Texas game was more of an addy than the Ohio State Notre Dame.
It felt like that for the last few years when you had Ohio State versus Georgia and 45-42. And then Georgia goes on to beat TCU like 66-6.
It was bad.
It was bad. And then you had this year where I felt like the national championship game was played at Texas, and then you had the Notre Dame debacle. I don't know what coming from as an Ohio State fan, looking back in December when Tennessee comes up to Little Neyland. Is that what they call it? Little Neyland?
I think
or Neyland North.
They were talking shit.
Yeah. When Tennessee came up there and then we scored 21 points in the first quarter, I was like, where was this versus Michigan?
I just want to know if the Tennessee fans were singing Rocky Top after that or before, because that was embarrassing. That is a classic raffle stomp, if you will.
It sure was, and I don't know. It was a long road. It was a well fought road. Having Tennessee first, and then
Oregon,
then going to Pasadena and manhandling the Ducks.
Yeah. The Ducks will never be the same
ever.
And then going down to, was it in Austin? No, it wasn't in Austin.
It wasn't in Austin, but it was close enough.
It was Cotton Bowl. So it was Dallas.
I think.
I believe so. It was in Dallas, and then it was a close shootout game. Although Travion Henderson had that 85-yard rushing touchdown, something crazy like that. It might not have been 85, but it was a lot.
That screen pass.
It was like right before halftime.
Yeah, there was that screen pass that he threw.
There's
nobody there.
They were literally. I've watched the replays on YouTube, and there's like watch out for Travion Henderson. And he's fucking gone, But, good job to every other team that made, the college football playoff last year.
Yeah, we got, what was it? Clemson, Indiana, Ohio State, Tennessee.
I had big hopes for Indiana.
I did too, but,
they beat Notre Dame in the first round.
Yeah, but I guess not enough people Googled him.
It was a crazy. I got it now. It was a crazy, just college football championship, and me and Dan here, we were right in the bar, just losing our mind. There was a leprechaun in the bar.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they imported him from Ireland the night before because he was still drunk.
Dude was like, "Oh, leprechaun."
Literally.
I wanted to give him a hug afterwards.
So let's kind of get into some stuff. Do you have a preseason top 25 there, bud?
Preseason top 25? Let me pull it up real quick. We will start. That is way too low. That's 68. On this, because I'm on ESPN, I'm trying to get to. This is a little impromptu. I do apologize. We'll do the top. I say 27.
Okay. Top 27?
So the first two out, the honorable mentions. The first one out is the Oklahoma Sooners.
I don't know.
I'm okay with that. I think that's a little high considering how they finished last season. First season in the SEC, but they are an SEC school now, technically. So, they always like to rank SEC schools high in the preseason polls. At number 26, we got the USC Trojans.
So, I have something to say about this. I feel that they're disrespecting USC. I understand.
100% agree.
I understand that the Lincoln Riley era has just started in SC, and there's still many, many more years left on his contract. But come on. 26?
Hey, it's almost top 25.
Almost is only good in horseshoes, hand grenades, and thermonuclear weapons.
This is also pre-season. So let's look at the actual top 25. You want to go with the first one?
At number 25, Brigham Young University, BYU Cougars.
Hook 'em Cougs.
Hook 'em Cougs.
I don't think that's what they say, but
they lost a few key players to the transfer portal. I don't understand how they're still in the top 25.
They also kind of imploded in the end of the season. Not to be okay. I know I'm a KU fan. But I watched a video and a guy ranked the best teams to not make a bowl game. Number one team to not make a bowl game was Kansas.
Oh yeah, they went 6-0 in their last 6 games.
No, we lost the last game to
5. So we went 5-1.
5-1
in the last 6
but
games.
they upset Iowa State, BYU, Iowa State.
You said Iowa State twice.
Iowa State another time. This makes me feel good. There was a couple other, like Colorado.
Yeah.
Just like that, like some of the biggest teams in the Big 12. Kansas is just like, nah, fuck you.
Yeah.
So let's get back to this ranking.
Number 24, we have Louisville.
The Cardinals.
Cardinals.
I think that's a little high. They lost a lot of players last year to the draft and the transfer portal. There we go.
Yeah. Offensive line, defensive line. They had to pick up transfers from Virginia and Syracuse.
To be fair, they're in the ACC. So who's your real competition? Clemson?
Clemson, SMU.
Yeah, no. I called that one last year, by the way.
Yeah. SMU, Florida State. I think, okay. I understand they won 1 game last year.
They won like 2.
Okay. Sunshine shines on a dog's ass every once in a while.
Maybe sunshine will shine down on a dog's ass in the Sunshine State this year.
Yeah. I'm what's his name, the head coach?
I don't fucking know.
I can't remember.
Some dude. He's got a face.
Yeah.
Alright, we're going to skip over that one because we got nothing positive or negative to say about Louisville. Good
Yeah.
team from last year.
Good team last year.
Good team from last year. But let's look at number 23 here. Number 23 they have on the preseason ranking is the Iowa Hawkeyes. Now, I like the Hawkeyes, but at the same time, if it's like the Iowa Hawkeyes of old, what's an offense? Like, you're going to score 15, 20 points a game.
All they have to score is 14.
All they got to score is 14, but you play like, Wisconsin, or you have the Iowa State matchup. Iowa State's kind of all over the place anyway. If let's say you have to play Ohio State, either it be in the shoe or in Kinnick. Look out for that Ohio State team this year. I feel like we're going to be talking about them here a little bit later, but the Big Ten schools are not like the Big Team. I cannot talk. I do apologize, chat. The Big Ten teams of the last few years are not the traditional Big Ten teams of old. You have Ohio State. Ohio State has always been like this monster of a school. They have score a lot of points, punch you in the mouth.
We got some chats. Remy, IO buddy, and we got Hottie Toddy from Mississippi. So I'm gonna assume that I think that's Bronco. He is an Ole Miss fan. He hates Mississippi State.
Well, if we get Mississippi State, we'll talk shit about him. I guarantee you.
Absolutely. I fucking hate
Dak Prescott because he went to Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Never mind. I'm not going to say what I was about to say. We're still in Pride Month. It's okay to talk about the Cowboys.
Oh my God.
I said it.
Number 22, we got the Tigers of Missouri.
Fuck Mizzou. Okay? Right here. Fuck Mizzou.
Number 21, Kansas State.
You know what? Fuck them too. Nobody likes K-State.
I like K-State.
No one likes K-State. You shut your whore mouth.
That's where Will Howard came from.
Go to 20. Will Howard's the exception.
The exception.
He transferred, though, because he knew better. No one likes me. You ever been to Manhattan? There's nothing.
Oh.
At number 20, we have the Indiana Hoosiers.
I think that's too low.
I think they should be at least 5 spots higher.
Yeah. Being a playoff team last year, and I understand that they're going to have to,
They did.
They lost Curtis Rourke, right?
Curtis Rourke got drafted by the Niners.
Okay. And so I guess it depends on who they pick up. They picked up Fernando Mendoza from Cal,
who was actually fairly decent last year, if I remember right.
Yep, he had 19 career starts. The offensive line is the biggest thing that got exposed last year. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I wondered how Curtis Rourke was able to stay on his feet playing teams like Ohio State, Michigan. Michigan had the best, and I hate that these words are coming out of my mouth.
Just tell me what it is and I'll say it.
They had the best interior defensive line in college
football. Michigan had the best interior defensive line in all of college football. Dan never said that. Do not say that he said those words. He was just referring them to me. A plebe.
But I feel like Indiana's a top 15 team.
You know what? I totally agree, and I also think that number 19 is a little high.
I think they're overrated. Iowa State is overrated at 19. I'll say it.
If you ask my honest opinion, I am out.
Oh.
If you ask my honest opinion, I think that Iowa State this year in the Big 12 will be in the top 5 of the Big 12, but I don't think that they will be in the top 25. There's just too many players lost. There's too many random key factors. We'll get into who we think are, who's going to be the number 1 and 2 in all the conferences in the land. But right now we're going over this. So we got number 19, Iowa State. Don't agree. Is what it is. Number 18, the South Carolina Gamecocks. I don't know if I agree with that one either.
I actually do, and I think that this is the perfect ranking for them. They had a strong finish in the SEC last at the middle to end part of the last season.
Do you want to hear a controversial take on this one?
Go ahead.
I'd rather have Vandy.
Vanderbilt lost too much. They lost way too much.
But they will be back this year.
Don't count on it.
Oh.
Vanderbilt had a Cinderella year last year. They'll go back to being a 4 or 5 win team next year.
We'll see.
Okay. South Carolina, I believe. Yeah. Like Spectre Studio said, Vanderbilt always loses too much. They had one good year with transfers coming in. They don't have a lot of transfers for Vanderbilt coming in this year.
They still got that Diego dude?
No, he's gone. He was a senior last year.
Well,
I
thought he was a junior. That is my bad.
Yeah. No, he's gone.
I still do expect. I'm more okay with South Carolina being where they are, but I wouldn't count Vanderbilt out of anything this season. I think they're one of those teams that they're coming up. They're like the Iowa States, or what's the other team that always upsets everybody? Purdue.
Purdue. Purdue actually has canonically more number one or more top 5 upsets than any other college team in college football.
I still random aside here. I think Purdue will be, or not Purdue. Vanderbilt will be a 7 to 8 win team season this year.
Yeah.
I think they make a bowl game.
That's a stretch.
No. I think they make a bowl game. But it all depends on how they play. I don't know their schedule.
We'll go over schedules.
We'll go over their schedule in a future podcast. But that all being said, let's go to number 17, which I think is our first Big Ten team.
Oh, no, because we had Iowa.
Okay, Iowa doesn't count.
Iowa's still a Big
Ten. No one likes Iowa, okay?
Illinois Fighting Illini at 17.
I think it's high.
No, I think it's right about where they were. I think, what's his name? He used to coach Wisconsin. Brett Bielema? Isn't he the coach of Illinois?
Brett Bielema, yeah.
Yeah. Brett Bielema taking over Illinois and then moving them into the top 16 last season. I think that's just something to build on in Illinois.
You get to do the next one. Someone's going to be very excited about this one.
Number 16, we
Say
have
it with your heart.
The Ole Miss Rebels. Jackson Dart's gone. We have looks like Austin Simmons could be Dart's successor. 16, I think that's a little low. I think
honestly,
I think Ole Miss could be a top 10 or top 12, top 13 team.
I probably have them more comfortably at like 11.
Yeah,
just on the fringe of top 10. I really like that Ole Miss team, especially from last year. You had Jackson Dart, you had all those other just crazy playmakers. They were scoring so many points a game, but then it was so weird because it was like all of a sudden it just
hit a concrete wall.
They hit a wall, and it's just you feel kind of bad for them. I was rooting for Ole Miss all last season.
Yeah, same. Because
I hate Alabama.
Not only did I have Jackson Dart on my fantasy football.
I think I had their wide receiver. He scored me a shitload of points.
Yeah.
What's Chad say?
Don't sleep on Austin Simmons. Absolutely.
You know what? We won't sleep on anybody.
Yep.
But, again, I think my way too early predictions, call me crazy. I got Ole Miss as my dark horse to win the SEC. 1 or 2.
I bet they go. Okay, if Alabama folds this year because they didn't end the season very well, they lost to Michigan in their bowl game, and then they lost 2 games last year, right? Texas
And Vanderbilt.
and Vanderbilt. Did they lose to LSU?
I think they also lost to the LSU.
That's why they didn't make it to the playoff, because they were 9-4.
I think that sounds about right.
Yeah, and then they go on to lose to Michigan in their bowl game. If Alabama hits the same wall that they did last season, Ole Miss sneaks into the SEC championship game against either Georgia.
No, I don't got Georgia in there.
Hold on, either Georgia or Florida.
No.
Oh
No. Well,
okay.
we will get into this in a little bit. We will pick our I'm going to say top 3 for Big 12, Big 10, ACC, SEC, and whatever the other one is.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that at the end of the show.
I think I might be a little high on Texas with Arch Manning, but I may be wrong. You may be right. I may be crazy.
Only time will tell.
Only time will tell. But let's get back into this ranking. We got number 15. We got another SEC team, the Florida Gators. I think that's a little high, personally. The team that had the hardest schedule last year, but, ended up doing fairly decent. Not terrible.
They had a top 10 recruiting class this year. They're bringing back 6 on offense, 7 on defense.
They still got, DJ Lagway.
Yep.
So,
they got Jake Slaughter, who's an All-American center.
That's a badass name.
Yeah, no, right. Yeah, but it's not Steel Chambers, though.
It's not Steel Chambers or Captain Jack Sawyer.
But they also bring back Damian George Jr. At the guard position. I think the offensive line is good. I think the quarterback spot is
a little
iffy, still to be determined. I think their secondary and their defense is stellar. I think that's what I said. It's either going to be Florida, Ole Miss, or Georgia, Ole Miss. It all comes down to that Florida-Georgia game on whether or not Florida goes or Georgia goes.
I just think on the whole, a lot of the SEC teams, it's the same thing for the Big Ten teams.
From the chat, everything you have to say is moot until Bill Belichick's girlfriend weighs in.
That's fair. That's fair. But she's 27 and no one cares.
I'll send her an email.
But anyway, the big thing with the Big Ten SEC is not as big in the Big 12 anymore. But, you have, Death Valley. You have, College Station. We're going into the Big Ten. Not Big Ten, shit. Wrong. I know what I'm talking about, damn it.
You need another one?
Yeah. So, the SEC, you have, the Swamp, Death Valley. You have College Station, which they ranked number 1 for some fucking reason for, the hardest college, stadium play. I call it bullshit, first off. You got Bryant-Denny Stadium in Alabama. You have, Neyland? Rocky Top. You have all these SEC schools. You're the big name SEC schools, and they are all hard to play. They all have a nickname for a reason. Same thing with the Big Ten. You have Beaver Stadium.
There's only one that matters in the Big Ten, and that's the shoe.
There's only one that matters in the Big Ten, and that is a shoe. But you have other ones that you have Kinnick. You have, Beaver Stadium for Penn State.
I don't understand it. Beaver Stadium for the Nittany Lion and College Park.
It doesn't make sense, but Pennsylvania doesn't make sense. You have the big house, even though fuck Michigan.
I almost wore my fuck Michigan shirt.
But you should have. You should have.
We're supposed to be unbiased.
We're supposed to be unbiased, but fuck Michigan.
Okay. Fair enough.
Even you got Eugene, Oregon. You have USC.
The Coliseum.
Like all these big names. The landscape of college football in the last 5 years has shifted so far. No one, and as a KU fan, no one's going like, oh my god, I gotta go to the booth. I gotta go to Memorial Stadium at David Booth. No one's like, But you go up to anybody and you're like, let's say you're Purdue, and you're going like, oh, I gotta go to the shoe.
Yeah. College football tailgating at the Grove is pretty good. It's pretty good.
Never been.
We should hit an Ole Miss game this year.
I'd be down.
Oh yeah, dude.
Let me open my Zen first.
I don't have a problem going to see Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a good team.
Let's go to the next one.
Number 14, SMU Mustangs. I think this is way too low.
I think they should be top 10, personally.
If not, around that 11 or 12 spot.
Just on the fringe, like the honorably mentioned in top 10, maybe 11.
Yeah.
But let's look at the next one, because, I'm kind of okay with it. Next one, 13, Michigan. No.
Absolutely not.
Nope.
So, we're going to get into a little tangent here. Have you seen the news?
With, all their sanctions and everything?
Well, none of those sanctions have come down yet.
Michigan at 13 is bullshit, first off. Just not even being biased here. They did not have a great season last season. Yes, they beat Ohio State. We're not going to talk about that.
So, on June 6th, the NCAA met with Michigan to let them know that they had ended their investigation and they have findings. From June 6th, they have 90 days to implement said whatever punishment. Insert punishment here. There's a lot of people calling for them to give up their national championship game from 2024. That's probably not going to happen.
No, I don't think that'll happen.
A lot of people are talking about vacated wins. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I'm all for vacated wins. If they want to vacate 2024, 23, and 22, which is when 2022 is when Connor Stalions was hired, and then they want to vacate all of those wins, I'm okay with that. Or if the NCAA makes them vacate those wins. Because, if you remember, Jim Tressel for Ohio State was fired because his players were signing memorabilia to tattoo artists in order to get tattoos. We vacated an entire season, an undefeated entire season. The
next year, right?
No, the next year.
It was the first year under Urban Meyer.
Yeah. Well, it would have been 2 years later because after Jim Tressel, they had Luke Fickell for a year, and then they brought in Urban Meyer. And then Urban Meyer went undefeated in his first season. And I believe he would have had 2 national championships under his belt. No, with Ohio State.
Oh, it was like, doesn't he have 2 or 3 already? Like back to back with Florida.
Yeah, the Tim Tebow era was bullshit.
Fucking Tim Tebow. You go ahead and go on to the next one. I'm over Michigan. I do not believe that Michigan deserves to be in the top 25 at all, personally. Just with all these scandals.
I don't think that there should be a spot for Michigan in the top 25.
That's why I wanted to look at 26 and 27. Because you move all these schools up, move Michigan out, have Michigan at 26. Have whoever was at 26. I don't remember who it was.
Oklahoma.
Have Oklahoma in the top 25. Even though I still don't think Oklahoma deserves it, it is what it is. Go on to the next one. I'll be right back. I gotta pee.
That's good. Number 12, we have Arizona State Sun Devils.
I love it.
I'm okay with this.
I love it.
100% okay with this. As long as they keep producing in the Big 12 like they did last year. If they can't produce, sorry, conference realignment's a thing. I know that they have them for at least 5 years because that was their initial read-in contract. But if they want to continue success in the Big 12, they have to continue to have seasons like they did last season. Number 11, the Miami Hurricanes. I am not okay with this.
Too low.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Too low.
No, too high.
No. I got Miami and winning the ACC. That's too low.
With what offense?
They'll figure it out.
Are you high?
No.
I think you should be.
Maybe, but that's besides the point.
No, losing Cam Ward, but they did pick up what's his nuts from Georgia, the quarterback from Georgia.
The hell is his name?
I can't remember, but anyway,
you should say it.
Carson Beck.
Carson Beck.
Their defensive line is gone. Their offensive line is in shambles. Having Miami this high is ludicrous.
I still have Miami possibly winning the ACC.
What did I say last year? I said SMU was going to go in there and win the ACC,
and they didn't.
But they went to the championship game.
But they didn't.
Where was Miami?
Out.
They were sitting at home. But so was Ohio State.
I was also on the same SMU train, just to be fair. But let's get out of Miami and let's go a little farther south.
Well,
Northeast. For number 10, we got Alabama. I do not like Alabama this high personally, but it is Alabama, and they just kind of, weasel their way in.
Yeah.
What do you got? What are your thoughts?
Jalen Milroe is gone. They're now having to rely on probably a redshirt junior and Ty Simpson, unless they go to Austin Mack, which that I don't understand how any of those two quarterbacks. And then at your third backup position, you're looking at Keelan Russell, and he's a redshirt. Or His name
reminds me of a pie.
Yeah. He's an incoming freshman. So, what are they going to do at quarterback? They don't have anybody on their roster right now that I'm looking at that has a start.
Well, we will see when we get to that point. But as of right now, I think Alabama deserves to be like 15, if that. But we'll go ahead and move on to number 9. We're getting our top 10 now.
Like Remy says, nothing gives us more satisfaction than watching UGA and Bama lose games.
Absolutely. But if we're talking seriously here, if the preseason polls are correct, we'll go number 9. I'll do number 9.
Good.
Number 9, we have the Tennessee Volunteers.
I'm okay with this.
I'm okay with Tennessee being at 9. I think the Neyland's a very hard stage to play in.
It's kind of hard, or it's kind of bullshit that they couldn't pay Nico Iamaleava.
Yeah, I agree. But it is what it is, and I like Tennessee in the top 10. I am 100% okay with that. Number 8, we have another SEC team. We have the LSU Tigers.
I am not okay with this.
I think they should be lower, personally.
I think they're a top 5 team. I think LSU is a top 5 team.
You think LSU's a top 5 team?
Yeah.
I think they should be like
I'm going
12 to 15.
I'm going to tell you this. There was a statistic that was put out on ESPN the other day, and I had to look it up because I laughed so fucking hard. What's the LSU's coach name's Brian Kelly?
I think
it's Brian Kelly. You know, Brian Kelly under LSU has not won a season opener.
Really?
Yeah. When ESPN said it the other day, I had to look it up. I was like, that's bullshit. He has not won a season opener with LSU. I was like, what the fuck? If they lose their season opener, I will eat crow, and they can be ranked outside the top 25. I got it. Number 7, we have the Clemson Tigers.
I think it's too high.
I think it's just right. I think
top 10. I don't think top 7.
I think
You know, they do have, returning quarterback Cade Klubnik, who is probably, arguably, a top 10 pick in the NFL draft next year. If he declares, which I think he has to at this point. I don't know. The ACC schools are just so weird. They're just all over the place all the time. But we'll go on to number 6. You know, I'm okay with them being there, but I just don't trust Clemson as a school. I don't know. There's something about them. They lose weird games to small schools, and then they get blown out in bowl games. I don't think they're one of the top 12 teams in the end of the season. But let's go to number 6.
Number 6, Penn State.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with Penn State at 6. At number 5, we're the top 5. We got Notre Dame. No. Top 25, yes. Top 5, no.
Top 15, no.
I got them at like 21.
I like how every year Notre Dame fans are all like, "Oh, we're ranked in the top 5. We're gonna have a stellar year this year."
They
blah,
don't
blah,
fucking
blah, blah.
play anybody.
Yeah.
You go to the college football playoffs, you played a bunch of cupcakes.
And then when you don't play anybody, you still lose to the people that you don't play. Northern Illinois.
Yeah.
Marshall.
You know, you go into the national championship, and arguably they got embarrassed.
Yeah. Number 4, I am also okay with the Oregon Ducks.
Honestly, I'd have Oregon in the top 3. But 4 seems like a good spot for them.
Actually, if I think who number 3 is, we could swap 3 and 4.
I'd be more okay because number 3 is Georgia.
I would swap 3 and 4.
I would rather have Oregon at 3 and then Georgia at 4. I don't know. That Georgia team lost, their starting quarterback. They lost a lot of people to the draft. It is Georgia, and they, they're like KU in basketball. They don't rebuild, they reload. But I'm okay with that. We'll go to number 2, which I don't agree with right off the bat. Number 2 is Ohio State, number 1. They should be number 1. They won the national championship. A lot of people coming back. You got Jeremiah Smith.
Julian Fleming.
You have a lot of that defense coming back. Won the national championship. There is no reason they should not be number 1. You can fight me on that one. But if you win the national championship, you should be number 1 until proven otherwise.
I'm pretty sure it was Stephen A. who said, if you win the national championship until somebody beats you, you're the number 1 team in the country.
I agree with that. And I don't like Stephen A. Smith.
I fucking hate Stephen A. Smith.
And for number 1, no. I see it over here. No.
You sound offended.
I am offended. Say the name.
The University of Texas.
No. Number 1 in the SEC? Yes. Number 1 in overall polls? Fuck that.
Let's talk about something real fast now that we got through the top 25. The amount of success that teams had that switched conferences last year was paramount. Arizona State, all the success that they had in the Big 12.
Winning the Big 12.
Yeah.
Oregon winning the Big 10.
Oregon winning the Big 10. Texas
winning
almost winning the SEC.
SMU
almost winning the ACC.
Yeah, no, it's everything's been flipped upside down onto its head. You know, I honestly would probably rather have Ohio State at number 1 and maybe Texas at 2. Just because the sole reason of, as I said, Ohio State won the national championship last year, and the national championship game, in my mind, in my opinion, was them versus Texas.
Yeah. From the chat, Texas is vastly overrated right now, primarily because of Arch Manning. I couldn't agree more.
I love Arch Manning.
I love Arch Manning too, but
I hope the Colts tank for him.
They don't have any wide receivers. They don't have any wide receivers.
So all of the top 25 being said, I would like to take a deep dive into our way too early predictions of like, who do you got winning the Heisman?
Oh shit! I'm gonna throw out 2 Ohio State players.
I got Jeremiah Smith.
I got Jeremiah Smith. I also have Caleb Downs.
I got Jeremiah Smith, but a dark horse I have would honestly be Arch Manning.
I don't think so.
Just because the name.
I don't think so.
I also have, because I am how I am, I got Jalen Daniels. Even though he's like a 7-year senior, that KU team's built up. I would not want to be a team that plays Kansas. Do I think he'll win it? No. But he's been in the conversation before.
He was in the conversation a lot last year with us.
He was.
And then he disappointed us for 5 games.
They got hurt.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's a toss-up. We need to see people play week 1 before we can make an accurate assessment. Honestly, I say week 3. When you start getting into like normal play. But I got maybe Cade Klubnik out of Clemson.
That's probably a safe. That's a safer option. He's probably only a plus 300. And if you would have bet the Vegas odds now.
Here, let's see.
I do want to touch on week 1 of college football because it includes 2 Saturdays.
So, real quick, before we get into that,
okay,
the odds currently to win this Heisman this year: number 1, Arch Manning; number 2, Garrett Nussmeier out of LSU.
That's probably a safe bet too.
Number 3, Cade Klubnik. I'm okay with that. Jeremiah Smith, and then Julian Sand, which seems kind of high. You got Drew Aller out of Penn State, Lenore Sellers out of South Carolina. You got DJ Lagway out of Florida, which, okay. Dante Moore out of Oregon, and then they got Carson Beck.
Probably not.
Out of Miami.
Probably not.
But the highest is Arch Manning is a plus 700. Carson Beck is plus 2,200.
Is he going to run for 2,000 yards? Because he doesn't have anybody to pass to.
He might.
So week 1 of the college football, Starts Saturday, August 23rd.
Day after my birthday.
Yeah, and we did a deep dive last year for the game that happened in Ireland between
I
Florida.
think you called it.
I did. Florida State, Georgia Tech, and I called Georgia Tech, upsetting them by a lot.
It was closer,
but
than you said,
but this time, it's two Big 12 teams. Iowa State at Kansas State in Dublin, Ireland.
Honestly, give me K-State. They're one of those weird, feisty teams. K-State's always been one of those teams that, like, oh, hey, it's number 6 Oklahoma. Oh, they upset them. Oh, I'm so shocked.
Another game that is on the 23rd is Fresno State at KU.
I got KU.
That's a night game.
I got KU.
And then the Thursday we kick off. Not really any notables on Thursday. There is a Big 10, Big 12 clash with Nebraska at Cincinnati. At Cincinnati.
Nebraska.
Yeah. But that's the key matchup for Thursday the 28th. And then we go to Friday the 29th. That's when things start to get fucky. We have Auburn at Baylor.
Give me Auburn. I don't like the SEC, but Baylor was so iffy last year.
Yeah. The next one, Georgia Tech at Colorado.
Give me Georgia Tech.
I think the honeymoon for Deion Sanders is over.
I honestly would have
and
Colorado at like a 5-win team this year, if that.
Yeah. And then that's the marquee matchup for Friday night, which that's going to be a hell of a Friday night. That Georgia Tech Colorado kickoff with Auburn and Baylor kickoff, both being at 7 p.m. So they're both night games. It's going to be a good Friday night. And then Saturday, August 30th, we start off with Syracuse at Tennessee. I feel Tennessee is going to take care of that. Texas at Ohio State. I think this is...
It's at Ohio State?
Yeah.
Give me Ohio State, but I think it's going to be close. It's going to be closer than we think.
I think I'm going to call the score 28-25.
Give me Ohio State, but I'm going to say 38-29.
Okay. More notable kickoffs, Alabama at Florida State.
Give me Florida State. I don't know. Something's calling me to Florida State.
You just said earlier that Florida State wasn't going to win any games.
Well, new season, new people. They're trying to get to a new conference, and I think that's what happened last year.
That's fair.
But give me Florida State to upset Bama. It's at home. It's in Tallahassee.
Now the game everybody in the ACC and SEC have been waiting for. LSU at Clemson.
Give me Clemson.
You know, I said this last year when Clemson opened up against Georgia. And I watched Dabo Swinney for 4 quarters try to score points.
They got embarrassed, but it was a neutral site game. Is this a neutral site game?
So LSU at Clemson. It is in Memorial Stadium in Clemson, South Carolina.
Give me Clemson.
Another one. This used to be a good Pac-12 matchup. Cal at Oregon State. Cal is now the ACC, which is on the Pacific Coast, which makes no sense.
Still doesn't make any sense, but it also makes as much sense as Oregon, Washington, and USC, and UCLA being in the Big Ten. So, nothing makes sense. I don't care who wins that game.
Life isn't real.
Nothing's real. Birds aren't real.
They
work for the government.
They work for the government. Utah at UCLA.
Utah.
Colorado State at Washington.
Washington.
And then we have 2 primetime matchups on Sunday and 1 primetime matchup on Monday.
Okay.
We have Virginia Tech at South Carolina.
Give me South Carolina.
And Notre Dame at Miami.
Give me Miami.
And then on Monday, we have TCU at North Carolina, depending on whether or not Bill Belichick's girlfriend is going to be coaching the team rather than him.
Give me North Carolina. I don't know. There's something about Bill Belichick.
You mean his girlfriend?
Bill Belichick's girlfriend, she's going to coach a solid team. She's going to give Bill Belichick some sloppy topping before the game, and he's going to coach the game of his life.
Sir, this podcast is for children.
We've said fuck at least 35 times.
Love it. Love it. Top 3 per conference.
Top 3 for conference.
Let's go with the SEC first.
SEC number 3. Give me Texas. I got Texas at 3rd. And for my top 2 in the conference, give me Georgia and Ole Miss. I just like Ole Miss.
Okay.
I got Ole Miss winning the SEC.
Mine are way different.
Well, that's why we're doing this.
I think Brian Kelly's on the hot seat. My number 3 is LSU. My number 2 is Georgia. And my number 1 is probably going to be the SEC winner in Ole Miss.
So we can at least confirm that we have
2 of the 3.
Both of us have Ole Miss winning.
Yeah.
I like Ole Miss. I think they're a bunch of rowdy
folk.
Rowdy folk.
They are the rebels.
They are the rebels. And there's something about Ole Miss from last year. I really liked the team from Ole Miss last year. If they can build upon what they had last year.
And that's the thing about Lane Kiffin. He is a rebuilder. He is not the kind of coach that you hire where you already have a high-powered team in place. You want Lane Kiffin to come into your program that's broken
to
fix it.
Yeah.
That's what he is good at.
And then he'll leave, go to the NFL, and then be ass, and then
come back to college
for some random school. But, I like, Ole Miss winning the SEC this year. If anything, I maybe...
That's true. Lane Kiffin isn't rebuilding. He's reloading. But Ole Miss was not the team it was before Lane Kiffin got there.
I just like Ole Miss. Like, Brendan Miller's honest. Give me Ole Miss. Now, let's go to the ACC.
Ooh, you know what? I'm going to go again. SMU at 3.
SMU at 3. I like it.
I love them coming in. Man, it's real hard. I want to say Miami at 2 and then Clemson at 1. I think I'll stay with that. Clemson 1, Miami 2, and then SMU 3.
Okay. My ACC predictions are as followed. I have Clemson at 3, North Carolina at 2, SMU at 1.
Okay. I don't understand how you think North Carolina is in the top 3 in the ACC when they got blew out by James Madison 77 points last year.
Well, new coach.
Okay.
What did Bill Belichick do in the NFL?
Well, he won 6 Super Bowls.
Exactly.
But this is not the NFL.
It's not the NFL. It's probably easier.
No, it's not. It's harder because you have to develop players. When they get to the NFL, they're already semi-developed. You don't have to do anything but fundamentals and keep them in the weight room, keep their weight up.
But what was Bill Belichick really good at in the NFL?
Scandals.
No. He had Tom
scandals.
Brady. I'll give him that. But his wide receiver core.
Okay. They changed every year?
Yeah. They never had, it was like, hey, we got Randy Moss, we got Wes Welker, but then there's all these other random people that were like, oh, wow, they're really good. And then they go to other teams and they suck dick. That's why I got North Carolina in my top 3. I think SMU wins it. I just really like that SMU team. If I had an outlier at number 4, give me Miami.
Okay.
I don't think Florida State sniffs the top 5. But that's what these way too early college prediction polls are for,
Yeah. What's your Big 12?
Big 12, I got number 3. Give me Arizona State.
Wow. Okay.
I like Arizona State at 3.
I got them at 2.
Number 2, honestly, give me... You're going to hate me on this one. Give me KU. It's just how I am. I'm optimistically optimistic. Number 1, K-State. Just K-State's always been that team that does it. Now, don't get me wrong. I can see it I can see Iowa State or BYU being in that. I just don't think BYU has the legs this year.
When they were out there in wheelchairs?
If I had a 4th team, it would probably be Iowa State.
Okay.
I was wrong last year. You know what? No, let me change everything I just said. Realistically, Arizona State at 1, K-State at 2, and at number 3, give me Iowa State.
There you go, using your head. I think BYU's in number 1.
I don't see BYU being 1.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Number 2, give me K-State. Number 3, horse of a different color.
Listen to the frogs.
Yeah, a horse of a different color. Give me Cincinnati.
No.
Give me Cincinnati.
You're an eat crow.
That's fine. But give me Cincinnati. And
on to the Big Ten. Daniel. Who do you got?
Oh. Number 3, I got Nebraska.
I don't agree, but go ahead.
At number 2, I have Penn State.
We're okay with that.
And at number 1, the
Ohio State
University.
So, my number 1 is the same for the Big Ten. I got Ohio State winning it. But number 2, give me Oregon.
Okay.
But number 3.
Hold on, because we're gonna.
Well, I'm not.
Go ahead. I'll pull this up.
Number 3, give me Wisconsin. I know. Weird, right?
All right. So, where did you have Oregon?
2.
All right. So, we're going to go through their schedule.
We're going to go through their schedule.
We sure are.
We're also going to go through the schedule of a couple other schools. I'd like to go through Kansas first off, personally, but we're already on Oregon.
All right. So, Montana State.
That's a win.
Check. Oklahoma State.
That's a win.
That's a home game for them. At Northwestern.
That's a win.
Now, hold on. Northwestern will be playing in their new stadium.
Don't care. Still a win.
Okay. Oregon State.
Win.
At Penn State.
I think that's a loss.
All right. Indiana.
I think they beat Indiana.
I don't.
Is it in?
No, it's not.
It's in Eugene.
Kurt Signetti's got to go all the way up to Eugene, Oregon.
No.
At Rutgers.
They beat Rutgers.
Okay, you ready for the last 5-game slate?
Yep.
Wisconsin.
They beat Wisconsin.
Iowa. At Iowa.
No. They lose to Iowa.
Minnesota.
They beat Minnesota, even though I like rowing the boat.
I'm rowing the boat. USC.
In USC or just in Oregon?
At Oregon.
They win.
At Washington.
They beat Washington.
Here's mine. They win Montana State. They win Oklahoma State. I think Northwestern takes them to the wire. And that game is a coin flip.
I never said it wouldn't be close.
Oregon State, I think they beat Oregon State. I think they lose to Penn State, lose to Indiana. They beat Rutgers, Wisconsin. They lose to Iowa, win against Minnesota, lose against USC, and win against Washington. That's 9-4, sir.
Okay. Well, in that case, let's look at Ohio State's schedule. Got a couple other schools I'm going to look at, but
Texas comes to town.
I think we beat Texas.
Grambling State comes to town.
I think we lose to Grambling State.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Chat's going to fucking light up in a second.
Just kidding. We beat Grambling State.
Then our little sister Ohio comes to town.
Beat Ohio.
At Washington.
Beat Washington.
Minnesota at home.
We beat Minnesota.
At Illinois for the Illybuck.
Beat them.
At Wisconsin. That's the first time we'd be playing in Wisconsin in 3 years.
I think it'll be close, but I think we beat Wisconsin.
Okay. Penn State at home.
That one's going to be close, but I think we beat them.
Here's the trap game. At Purdue.
Beat Purdue.
Then we have UCLA at home and Rutgers at home.
Beat both of them.
And then we have to go to that team up north.
I think this is our year, and if it's not, Ryan Day's getting fired.
He just won a national title.
You told me last year, didn't matter. If you're the coach of Ohio State, you have to beat the team up north. But, is it in the shoe?
No.
I think we beat them.
Okay.
12-0.
I think you're optimistic.
What do you think?
I think that's a 10-2 schedule, man.
Who do we lose to?
Illinois took us to the wire. Wisconsin haven't played what's that stadium called?
I don't know. I just know they jump a lot.
Yeah, we haven't went up to Wisconsin and played in 3 years. Well, 4 years, because it was the year before that, because we had Wisconsin at home. So we haven't played up at Camp Randall. Camp Randall. I think Penn State, I think even with everything that's going on, Jim Knowles knows that Ohio State offense, and he went from Ohio State to Penn State. I think he can see through the tricks that Ryan Day and Brian Hartline, the new offensive coordinator. I think they can see through all that. And I think that we have a possibility of losing to Penn State at home.
I don't think so, but let's go to the next school. Who you got?
You said you wanted to do KU?
Yep.
All right. You pull up KU's schedule.
I know they open against Fresno State.
Yep, they open up Fresno State, and then they have Wagner
2-0.
at Mizzou.
Even though I fucking hate Missouri. 2-1. They lose to Mizzou.
Then they get West Virginia at home.
I think we beat West Virginia this year.
Cincinnati at home.
Yeah, that's a win.
At UCF.
That's a win.
At Texas Tech.
That's a loss.
Then they have Kansas State at home.
I think for the first time in 15 years, we beat K-State.
Then Oklahoma State at home.
I think we beat Oklahoma State.
Then you have to go to Arizona.
I think we beat Arizona.
Then you got to go to Iowa State.
I think we beat Iowa State again.
And then you have Utah at home.
I think we could beat Utah.
That's 3 losses.
9-3. I'll take it.
Before we go, Colorado.
0-12.
They got Georgia Tech to open up. It's the Big 12 ACC Challenge.
They lose that one.
Delaware.
They beat Delaware.
At Houston.
Houston's been pretty shitty. Give me Colorado.
Wyoming.
I think they beat Wyoming.
BYU at home.
I don't think they beat BYU.
At TCU. Now, you know what happened 2 years ago when they went down to TCU?
What happened?
Colorado. Deion Sanders' first game as a head coach of Colorado beat TCU, a ranked team.
Oh, that's right. I don't think they beat TCU.
Then they have Iowa State at home.
It's going to be close, but give me Iowa State.
At Utah.
Give me Colorado.
Arizona at home.
Give me Colorado.
At West Virginia.
West Virginia.
And then they have Arizona State at home.
Arizona State.
Then they got to go to Manhattan.
Give me K-State.
Sounds like a 6-6 schedule. You weren't too far off from 5 wins.
There could be a couple of weird ones in there, but I just don't like Colorado. Just in general.
But it's good to be back.
It is good to be back. It's been too long.
Yeah, this is going to be while Mr. Jacob fixes his schedule.
We're optimistically looking at picking the next one up probably the first week of the college football season.
Yep.
We won't have too many preseason podcasts, but
and the decor will change.
Yeah.
My house is under construction, kinda. So we had to pick this spot right here to film the podcast. So there will be a change of scenery. Next podcast.
I'm pretty sure the first one we ever did was over there.
Yep. It was right over there. And then all the other ones were way over there.
We're hoping that this iteration of the podcast, Season 2 podcast. Sound better, look better, and just are overall better than the last ones. We had a lot of technical difficulties last year. Trying to run 2 cameras.
2 mics.
2 mics. The cameras worked good, mics didn't.
This camera seems to be pretty good. You okay, man?
Yeah. Hiccups.
But if you guys haven't, check out the YouTube page. Link to the Discord is in there, so feel free to come into the Discord.
Join the Discord.
Give us some topics you guys want us to cover throughout the college football season. We'll be putting some polls in there here soon. Yeah. We'll be doing some polls and stuff like that in there. And then College Football 26 will be releasing in like 12 days. Yeah, so a couple weeks.
We're excited.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I have not yet purchased the game, but I will be buying the game. If you guys want to do an online league, that'd be cool. Last year didn't really work out. Sorry to everybody else, but schedules are all fucky.
Yep.
But we truly do appreciate everybody for stopping and hanging out, telling us what you think. Tell us we're stupid. Tell us you agree with us. All of those things. But
I think this video here had the most viewers, active viewers at one time. We had 12.
Hey, we're getting there. So I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure Dan can also, extend that gratitude. Thank you guys so much for watching Exiting the Huddle with Dan and Jacob. I am Jacob.
I'm drunk. I'm Dan.
He's Dan. And we will catch you guys on the next one. Everybody have a fantastic night.